Hey, what's going on? In today's video, we're going to be showing you how to build and edit for beginners. So now we're going to move on to kind of the basics of building, and we're going to mix some editing in it as well. So one of the first things that we want to learn is we want to learn a ramp push, and this is how you do a ramp push. So you can place the ramp and then place like a floor and wall if you want. I like to do a floor wall ramp when I'm doing it, just like that. So once we've learned how to do that, then we also want to be able to learn how to place both a cone and a floor and edit through, and place another ramp and another cone floor, and another ramp like this. If this is a little too complicated, then just start out placing a ramp and a cone like this and editing through it. So those are the things that we want to learn. Just know that because there's build pieces there, the cone stayed, but if you did it just one like this, it's gonna break. So the only reason that you would do this kind of thing is if you just can't do both and you're trying to kind of gain height on somebody. You know, like somebody's like built up, like, you know, up there or something, they're shooting at you. If you run and do it fast enough, you can prevent yourself from being shot, or you can even just place floors, same thing, you can do that as well too. But I would suggest just trying to do both at the same time. Just learn everything at once if you can, rather than just kind of make and do with that. Alright, so next thing we're gonna learn how to do here is 90s. And 90s are kind of one of the best ways to get height quick. And this is how you do a 90. You drag your walls around like this, and then you jump and place the floor on a ramp. Okay, just like this. That's it in fast motion, but again, ramp first usually is what I do. And then these four, that. So you can kind of swipe it in a direction like this with your walls, and then floor and a ramp. And if you're getting a floor above yourself, you're looking up too high when you're doing it. So if I was gonna do it like this, see, it's because I'm looking up too high when I'm doing it. So when you're doing 90s, you kind of want to be like looking at your feet almost, just right down here. You can do 90s where it's just a wall like this to kind of save mats. You can do it like that as well. I mean, you can also do it like this if you want. But this is kind of the reason why we want to learn these building sequences, is because these building sequences kind of are the sequences, in my opinion, that are make it easier to build in the game. So once you've learned how to do your ramp rush and this cone rush, or whatever you want to call that, and the 90s, then building other things become easier. You know, even if you're not going to do a 90, you know, just placing these high walls up here and just kind of building, you know, these are kind of just, it's sort of the same sort of sequences of builds over and over again. So I feel like once you get 90s down, you'll find that you can just build a lot better in general. Even if you're kind of spam building, you'll find that you can build better in general due to that. That'll really be what sort of elevates your skill the quickest, in my opinion. So when you're kind of just like a ramp rush, the same sort of building sequence where we're doing a floor wall ramp like this, we do floor wall ramp. We also want to learn that with cones as well. So because being able to jump off of a cone and build and keep building the height is very useful in Fortnite. Especially like you have a lot of players, they'll put a cone above you like this if you're on the other side, like this. You know, and then you're trying to place a ramp and you can't place a ramp. So how we counter this is we learn how to do this. You place the wall here, you jump, and you place a floor. To make this jump, you need to have your character's butt be above the wall here. So like when we're jumping up, like if we just need our character's butt to be just above the wall. So you can make this jump from this part of this cone, just like that. If you can see that, we can then build And then you can make it, you know, it's even easier if you're higher up on the cone, but you have to be at least like halfway up the cone to make this jump. And then same thing if you have a floor above yourself, you can edit this and you can reset it coming out as well. And so what we want to learn how to do is we want to learn how to build like this, where we're going to place a cone, place a wall, we're going to jump, we're going to place a floor again, cone, so like this. That's what we want to learn how to do. Alright, so those are kind of the basic building patterns for just like, you know, getting height and pushing people and stuff. And I mean, you can just practice too, just being able to box up real quick like this. And kind of the fastest way to do it is to place a wall, then a floor, and then spin around, and then finish it off with cones like this. So that's kind of the faster way of boxing, is to place your wall and then your floor above you. Because if you just place walls, if you're looking too far out, I mean, this is kind of a bad example, but if you're kind of in a spot like this, where you're kind of in the middle of a build piece, then you can, when you spin around, you'll end up spinning your walls too far out. And so the way to avoid this is to build a wall above yourself. And then if you're looking up or you're looking down, you can actually spin in a circle faster. So when you're building your boxes, you want to be looking up or looking down like this. Now we're going to talk a little bit about tunneling, because tunneling is also very important in this game. And so when it comes to tunneling, you want to place a wall, edit the wall, and then build like this, and then you can put cones too. But if you're just trying to move, you can just build it just like this. Like if you're just trying to build for the storm or whatever, you can build it just like this. And then whenever you're fighting somebody and they're like, you're weak, one of the most important things that you can do is you can build boxes like this, and you want to build at least 2 of them. And you want to have cones above you too, and then cones in your box too. And then if they're pushing you from, you know, above, you can go down like this, and you can build your box, and then always build 2 so that you have room to breathe. Because if they push this box, then you can go to this one, and you can go out. So when it comes to tunneling, always build 2 boxes. Like if you're boxing up rather than, I guess this is more like if you're boxing up rather than tunneling. Always build 2 boxes when you're boxing up. Next, I want to talk about tunneling to get away from people. One of the most effective ways to tunnel to get away from people is to build it like this, where you then place a ramp behind yourself. And if this is a little too much, you can just practice placing a ramp like this. You know, just practice. You can practice the different ways of placing ramps behind yourself. This is actually an effective way of tunneling as well. If like you have somebody to your side there or whatever, you want to tunnel like that. You know, block that one side. Or if somebody's behind you and above you, you can tunnel like this. So, and that kind of blocks you like that. I mean, realistically, the one that you want to learn is this one here, where you're tunneling and you're placing a ramp. And the time that you want to place your ramp is right at the center here, like right where it says to edit. That's kind of where you want to be placing your ramp, is when you're on the other side of that. Like if you're placing it here, you're going to be on top of it. So right where it says edit is where you want to be placing it, right in the center. Alright, so those are kind of the basic different things to practice in building. I mean, just being able to box up and move out of your boxes is going to be like one of the most effective things you can do for tunneling. Especially if you kind of want to skip past sort of the beginner stuff and go a little bit to something more advanced. This is kind of how you want to play the game. You want to always keep moving from box to box when you're trying to run and heal, or you're trying to box fight people. That's how you want to box fight in a game or run away from people in a game. And you can also go up and down, change levels, whatever. That's how you get good at running away from people, is being able to build multiple boxes and keep moving out of boxes into other boxes and stuff. And even learning to tunnel with ramps in your box. I want to show how to do a couple of things that we did on mouse keyboard. I just want to show them on controller now too. So specifically, I want to show this here. If you've accidentally placed a floor above yourself and you want to get up this, how we do it on controller is we hit the edit here, and then we hit reset, and then we jump up and confirm it once we're above it. So I just wanted to show that specifically on controller, because I know that it's a lot easier to do on the mouse keyboard with scroll wheel reset. So I just wanted to show how to do that part. Show how to do 90s on controller. I don't play controller, so I haven't in a very long time. It's been like a year. Last thing I want to talk about is when you're trying to like block an enemy by placing a wall. A lot of people, the guy will be right here shooting at you, and you're right here. And if you pull out your builds, you'll see that the wall wants to place over there. And a lot of people, they'll run into an issue where they're, building like this to try to block the guy, and everything's placing, way over there, like, over here like this. And so what you want to do to be able to build this wall in front of you is you just need to look down, or you can look up to build this wall. So if you have a guy, he's shooting at you right here, you want to just, when you're in this position, you're this close to where the wall needs to go, you need to look down to place this wall. Otherwise, any time that you go to place it, it's going to place out here. And another tip is when somebody is this close to you and you're trying to get away from them, you just want to run backwards and build as you're running backwards. So you can, place builds like this, and then you can kind of move away from them, kind of like that. Something to evade the guy. Alright, so that's all the building basics. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you would like me to make more videos like this, or you have something specific you want me to show how to do, just leave a comment, let me know. But thanks for watching. Have a good night.